Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of international rugby. This one, it is the Argentines taking on England. A match that was close last week, or maybe not as close as some did anticipate. At least it stayed close for a bit, and then England started to run away with that matchup. It was considered an upset, and one of the bigger upsets of the overall weekend. But this game, Argentina coming into it with a few changes to their starting side. England only making the one. We have to wait and see how these two sides do shape up. Looking through at the Argentine starting lineup, it will be Thomas Garchot as the number one, Julio Montoya at 2, and then Gomez Cordella as the starting number 3. Guido Petti and Rubiolo will be the locking duo with Grondona. Juan Martin Gonzalez, he does move to the number 7 jersey with Pablo Matera slotting in as the number 8. Benitez Cruz will be the starting 9 with Santiago Carreras as the 10. Picardo in the midfield alongside Lucio Cinti. And then Inacio Mendy, Matthias Maroni, and also Elizalde as the number 15. In terms of this English starting lineup, it is Finn Baxter, Jamie George, and Joe Hayes. Yules and Coles will make up the locking duo with Ben Curry, Sam Underhill, and Tom Willis. Did have a very impressive game in last week's fixture. Ben Spencer alongside the cool, calm, and collected George Ford, Seb Atkinson in the middle alongside Luke Northmore. So just that one change in the centre pairing. And then Muir out on one wing, Roebuck out on the other, and Freddie Stewart at number 15. So, that's the starting lineup, ladies and gents, for these two sides. Like I've said, it's the 7 changes to the starting lineup of the Argentines. We have got coming the Kiwi Lads, don't let us down. Says David Kemp's there, and also Pumas have one good game, one bad game, so this weekend is a good game. Says Sucker Bull, and just tune in, what's your score prediction? I did go earlier on, game within 7 on either side, and I hope that is going to be the case. I would like it to be extremely close, with not a lot splitting the teams, but you just wonder. And George not playing, mate. Dan in the hooker. Langdon is on the bench, says Liam. All late change then, if that is the case. For the English, is that down to... Oh, yeah, no, I do actually have it in that lineup that I was looking at just before. Theo, Dan. Is that due to a Jamie George injury, out of curiosity? Or is it because maybe he's getting that opportunity for the Lions? Because he could be. At the end of the day, there is that injury to Luke Cow and Dickey now. He's been called up for the Lions. Luke Cow and Dickey neck injury. Geez, that happened quick, didn't it? In terms of the turnaround of when he gets the call. A little bit of a last-minute adjustment here for the English. I actually thought that they may have given it one extra day and perhaps sent over... Honestly, I thought it might be Jamie George and George Ford, the two players that they'd send, but I guess they're just sending him by himself at the moment, and Jamie George has been called up by the Lions. Cesar Carlos and Los Pumas looking a lot better than the English, I think. So here's Sean Lees, although last week England looked extremely strong. Their defence was on point. They just were not budging when this Argentine side were going at them. And the other thing was the handling from the Argentines. Was Hernan personally thought he should have been allowed to play tonight, would have thought... Lake would have been the better option, the Welshman, says Liam. And I guess, yeah, being in Japan, it would have been a slightly shorter trip because Argentina to Australia is quite a long haul flight, which is why I thought maybe if they did have another guy that they were looking at, they might have considered sending 2 of them over rather than just the one. Of course, one more game for the English. They are going up against the USA, betting odds in favour of Argentina, and it was last week too. And we have got Jesper Wiese had a head moment. He did. A literal head moment. A headbutt moment, you could say too. But, yeah, looking at what is coming up for these two sides, the USA, they will be taking on the English. That is taking place next weekend at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. It does actually overlap, though, with Argentina's match up against the Uruguayans, who are having a very good victory over Romania as we currently speak. But that game starts at 7:40, so we probably will only be able to cover one of those two games. I'm not 100% which one to do as of yet, if I'm being honest, but they are just showing George Ford. Now showing Sam Underhill there as well. Of course, we all have the national anthems, and then we are straight underway. Last half, or first half, I guess you could say, between these two teams, only 3 points being scored, so very low scoring. I really hope we get up, or we call up Kepu Tuipulotu now, hooker. I was eligible for a few nations, so it would be worth a cap against the USA next week, says Liam. I guess once he does have that cap, then he's locked in, isn't he? So it would be a strategic play, but probably a very smart one. Buenos Aires to Melbourne. It's over 19 hours. Yeah, so that's an awful long time to be on a plane. So that's why I thought maybe, someone like a George Ford, they were going to send him over as well. Or, just to make it easier on the players. Let's take the opportunities, Argentina, says Colin. And also, Kippy was great in the under-20, says David Kemp. And also, I think Argentina will kick more to the English back three, in my humble opinion, says Akaris. I just hope that Argentina are able to hold the ball a lot better. But Pablo Matera, milestone match for that man. He is now the most capped player for Argentina of all time with 111 caps to his name. Big smile on his face. Let's take the opportunities, Argentina, says Colin. And yeah, it will make a big difference if they're clinical. And this matchup, they have just shown 32 years of age for Pablo Matera. Those fireworks seem awfully close to the players as they make their way out of the tunnel, smoking them out big time. And hi, Alan Hamish says Robert V. And Portugal 7, Ireland 85 also. Ireland having a good old victory in that department. Who do the Irish play next week? Do they have a game? I'm just going to have a quick look. Or are they all done for their internationals? I think they might be all done. The Irish. Yeah, no more games for Ireland of these July internationals, which seems weird, doesn't it? The fact that their last game is on the 13th of July, and there's still all these extra weeks that they won't actually be playing anyone during. And Jamie Ouch, still think it's good for teams like Portugal to play the big teams now and then. Hong Kong qualified for the World Cup, and going to go watch the game now, mate. Have a good one. Says Liam, you too. Hopefully you do enjoy the matchup. Good defence from England, however, says Colin. And also they're creating, just not able to get over. Yeah, I think that England's goal line defence last week was formidable, but then Argentina's finishing was lackluster. So I think if you even those out, we're in for a close match between these two sides. I think it is the... Oh, okay, someone's pressed the button. They'd have the Argentine national anthem, then someone turned off the speakers at the ground. So they had to get that fired back up. And also, morning Hamish, brother, true legend, still going awesome stuff, mate. And good one for the ABs in the box, going Argentina by 7, says Birdie V. And there as well. But yeah, we are on to our 5th live stream of the day, up to about probably 11 hours of streaming or somewhere around there, just at this point in time. Somehow still awake. No idea how, though. But this match hopefully will keep us wide awake indeed. We did see, like I said, 3 points the last time that these two sides played for the first half, which was much lower than people wanted to see. Argentina have great line speed. They do. And I do think they've got some clinical finishes across the starting lineup. Matthias Maroni, Inacio Mendy, Santiago Herreras. And how are we feeling, Hamish? Okay, I'm doing all right. Overall, for some reason, the green screen's still lagging a little bit, so I will have to try and get that sorted out in the next couple of days. And hoping for the English win. It'll be a nice birthday present for me. Says Akaris, you did not mention that it was your birthday, Akaris. Hopefully you have had a pretty awesome day. Of course, a lot of rugby has been taking place, but yeah, wish you a happy birthday. The Argentine national anthem, one of the longer ones around, but I guess with England's shortness of their national anthem, it does kind of make up for it. You need some Bluetooth cans, bro, says Johnny. And also we're back, says Lisa, and also morning Hamish. Says Blues Nate, welcome in. I'll come back in 10 minutes when the RG anthem is over, says Mark. And I think World Rugby are going to look into the no line-out jump move the Box utilised today. Probably not. They might if it gets too serious, because, I mean, they won 2 penalties from it. It's within the laws of the game, but it's whether or not other sides are going to look at also using it, or whether it's just going to be something that one team does. A big shout out to you, mate. Your commitment is unparalleled. I fell asleep when you were doing the AB's game early this morning, and you're still giving us good content. Giving us content. Says Jameson. Yeah, I'll be honest, the tiredness almost kicked in between these two matches. But I'm back wide awake now, which is good. Cheering for England, but their national anthem is weak. Says Big Rig Joe, and also think England will take this, but the RGs are lethal in their unpredictability, says Aneki. And also a great barbecue and a few too many beers. So all is good, thanks, says Akaris. And also All Blacks the team of the day for me so far. Says Suckable, and from Canada, thanks bro, says Jameson. And there, did you have a quick rest? I did not know. I ended up doing the editing of the Springboks versus Italy review, which took me probably about 30 minutes or so. And then from there, I had a quick snack, and then we're back ready to go for this match. Right, the second part of the Argentine national anthem has now just started. And Hamish, if Gareth Ferguson messaged you about joining the chats, Says Blues. Now, I did see his comment saying that he couldn't comment on his other one. Why is that? Has he been like accidentally blocked or something along those lines? But I haven't got round to checking it or anything as of yet. You are the better Steph Toy of commentators, Big Engine. Says Sakabola. What is your predictions for this game? Either side within 7 is what I'm going to be going with. And we have got there, our brother Gareth can't join us. Yeah, see, I haven't actually got WhatsApp on my new phone. So my old phone, I'll have to check to see. I replied to Gareth, says Blues Nate. So what was the reasoning? Has he randomly been like timed out or blocked or something? Or is it just that his old account doesn't work anymore? It's much better by the Springboks. Pity about that red card. I've seen much worse headbutts than that. Yeah, although nowadays there's too many cameras to get away with a flying headbutt, isn't there? Like everyone knows like that everything is being watched under the microscope. So just a really big brain fade from Jesper Wiese, which has probably cost him a spot in the Rugby Championship. You finally got a new phone, says Lily B. I have. Haven't worked out how to use it fully as of yet, which is why I haven't got like WhatsApp or anything on there. We have good Eden say he'll DM you instead. Says Blues Nate. So yeah, I will have to charge up that old phone so that I can get it working. Respect to you, Hamish. I'm back with you, bro. Says Jason in England by 10, says Johnny. And there as well. And that's what I said too. I've only got enough phone, says Robert V. Jets rugby went soft. I mean, that red card for a little headbutt is ridiculous. Years back we played rugby like it. Should be played now, says Birdie V. Yeah, it's an unfortunate one, but at the same time, I can fully understand why it was a red. Like, at the end of the day, like, you can't go around headbutting guys, whether or not it's soft or not. Like, World Rugby are trying to take that kind of, unfortunately, the word for it is thuggery out of the game. Because, you know, he didn't get him good this time, but Jesper Wiese was certainly fired up enough to give it a bit more of a crack. Oh, whistle not working for Luke Ramos, who will be in charge of this one, shaking out his whistle. I think he's going to need a new one here. And like they've said, hopefully not a sign of things to come. An understandable mate, says Birdie V, I should say. We have got that intent. There was intent behind it for Jesper Wiese. In the end, Fischetti laughed in his face, and Wiese kind of looked at him and went, right, I'm gonna hit you in your nose. What kind of cell phone do you have? I have an iPhone 12. I went with a slightly older model. Speakers then whistle. Says Lilia B. Yeah, it seems to be a lot of sound difficulties that they've had. Most of the thugs are dead, but a few slipped through the chat. Says Colin. Now it's going to be kicked off by Santiago Carreras. I don't know if to call the player stupid, but that's exactly what Wiese was. He's a seasoned pro with a history of foul play. Should have known better. Says Sakabola, and exciting to see some of the fringe players during the Lions tour. Decent team through the Pumas. Says Nathan there. Although the Pumas, sorry, rather than through the Pumas. And it's taken by England, who are wearing the blue and black kit once again for this contest. Argentina wearing the classic white and blue stripes. And England are going from left to right at the start of this match. We have got their 10 minutes or so left in the game, but Ireland are 92 to Portugal 7. Oh, they might get the hundy in that case. Plenty of time still remaining. Nicely taken at the back for Elizalde. Looks like he's had a haircut since last week. Now off to the left-hand side. Not a lot of space to work with for Santiago Carreras. Tackled in the shade. I'm back across, knock on from Argentina. I hope that's not a sign of things to come, because that did happen quite often throughout last week. Freddie Stewart going for the 50-22, kicking in behind. This ball rolling on big time, and it will go right back to where it was kicked from. Probably didn't cost a lot. Says Mono Grange is still relatively high up there in terms of in price, because I had to get the one with the big storage just for videos and whatnot. And Wiese's loss is Ruis's gain. Exactly right. Like, now Evan Ruis has 4 or 5 opportunities to make it into that Springbok starting pack. The other man probably jockeying for that jersey is Jean-Luc Deprez. And how many hours, Hamish, you're on duty? I think we're up to about our 11th or so hour of commentary at the moment. And 10 minutes or so. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? And Wiese was vicious, plain and simple. Says Ruth. But now will be the line-out throw here for Simon Benitez Cruz. Or sorry, the scrum feed. My apologies. Only 2 minutes into the contest. This is where Argentina need to get those handling errors sorted. Wiese has form at Leicester. He was cited a few times for dumb stuff like that. Yeah, he did get suspended and missed the Rugby Championship due to all of those suspension weeks for the Leicester Tigers. So, yeah, unfortunately, he's just been a bit rough in terms of keeping a cool head. And great games played thus far. Followed your commentary for the AB's game and was far better than the live. Says Colin, I do appreciate that a lot. We are going to be back next week with the third match. Whose idea was it for Portugal to play Ireland? Talk about knock their confidence out of them. But the thing is, Portugal were kind of competitive in their World Cup group of the last World Cup. So you just wonder whether or not, is this a weakened Portugal side? Because it's certainly a weakened Irish team that is without all of their big internationals. But yeah, not a good result for Portugal one bit. Ben Spencer kicking this one high, looking into the sun for Argentina. Santiago Herreras completely missed it. I think that one of the English players came flying through. I believe it was Will Muir. Now backline movement here, George Ford. Oh, that was a bit of a voice break there. And hello, Hamish and everyone. It's back now, luckily. Sorry, I'm late. Chips ready, coffee made now. Let's enjoy some great rugby and stunning commentary, says Jan. Now looking for the backline here for England into the breakdown. Elizalde doesn't quite get it. Big shot on Underhill. Oh, what do you think of the Springboks team today? They did all right at times. They also probably still weren't quite at their absolute best. Oh, well taken. Off the cross kick. Well handled by the English. Big fend offload. And they are over for the first try of the contest. I believe it was Seb Atkinson. Does end up scoring it. And as your vocal cords have lots of exercise. As you need a strepsil, says Lamatasi. And it is an amazing opportunity for Portugal. The boys must be pumped playing Ireland, says Johnny. How is she getting me in trouble, says Jack. My girlfriend is fed up of hearing your voice all day over the weekends. She's fed up of rugby boo. She's asking who keeps talking. You have to get some headphones, Jack. Might be the best way to go. That was a great take under the high ball for England, though. And everyone, I give England your spirit energy, says Big Rig Joe. Yeah, very nicely done by Seb Atkinson getting through. And scoring the try. Elizalde with the last-ditch effort, but it wasn't quite enough. And Pumas, are you for real, for real? And we have got there too much stuff ain't going my way, says Damo. Is that like in terms of, I assume outside of the rugby weekend, Damo? Hopefully you are doing all right. Do you sleep on the weekends? Not a huge amount, to be honest. You sound like a 2-pack a day guy, you sucker bullet. And get some headphones so you don't have to hear your girlfriend complaining. Geez, that's one you definitely don't want her to hear, Jack. Or else that might get you in quite a bit of trouble. And nice try, says Colin. Yeah, just the set-up play from England, getting those passes away. And Ireland is almost at 100, says Mohadeen, and scoreboard kicking over. Let's go, Pumas. Sitting 7-0 now in favour of England after the first 5 minutes of this contest. Now, 30 metres out. Cross to the right-hand side for the English. Whoop, whoop, England. Says Aneki there, and the penalty does go the way of England again for offside this time against Argentina. Just not quite getting their rhythm as of yet, Argentina. But sadly, they will have to find it soon, or else England could just continue to build up quite a hefty lead. Going to now be the line-out chance. And also, Ireland going to claim Portugal. And the Tier 1 team after this win, says Lamatasi. And also, hey guys, while you were here, that like button, or smash that like button if you're new, subscribe. Says a Birdie V. And there as well, now thrown into the back. Argentina getting a little bit too much. Oh, sorry, in fact, it was England. I get really confused sometimes with England wearing the blue and black. But it is their alternative strip now. Kicking downfield, Santiago Herreras finds a bit of open space, looking for the 50-22, but claimed inside of the English 22 by Freddie Stewart. Moves forward nicely. Do you have any players you're looking at for this match? I do think that George Ford will be under a bit of a microscope, because I do think that if there's any injuries in the fly half department for the British and Irish Lions, that man may make his way in. I would also say that in terms of that forward pack, I mean, of course, there's going to be a bit of pressure on the loose forward trio, I would think. My life is the 2024 Rob Penny Crusaders at the moment, says Damo. Well, the only positive, I guess you could say, is hopefully it then turns into the 2025 Rob Penny Crusaders, Damo. And then hopefully it will get a little bit better. That's going to be now knocked on by Argentina again. They'll go back for the scrum. Blimey, Hamish, have you slept at all today, says Trevor? No. No, I have been up for about 24 hours, I believe. And Brits flew under a Kiwi command in World War II, and Defo agree on Ford joining British and Irish Lions if there's an injury, says Johnny. Is this in Argentina? It is. So it does give England the opportunity to earn even more world ranking points. Georgia will lose by a cricket score, no disrespect to the Georgians, says Mona Lagrange. Yeah, they did struggle in the game up against the Cheetahs. A little bit good start a good start for England. They have already beaten their first half score from the previous test by 4, says Georgia. That was a low scoring one, wasn't it? We were expecting all-out fireworks early, and then we just saw 3-0. At the 40 minutes, you think George Ford is ahead of Sam Prendergast? Potentially, depending on what type of game the Lions are going to be looking at, because I do think that they've already got their expansive fly half in Finn Russell. And, you know, it depends on what they want, whether or not they want that little bit more structure or whether they want that bit more unpredictability. Good shot from Santiago Herreras. He adds the extra 3, so now sitting 7 points to 3 on the scoreboard. I'm going to name my next child after you, Hamish, says Jack there. Have you mentioned this to your wasn't it your girlfriend, I believe? Anyone is better than Prendergast, says Lamatasi, and that one's going to be close to the sideline, keeping it alive though for Argentina. Now Juan Matan Gonzalez offloads back on the inside. Another knock on coming this time from Picardo. England this time. Knock it on afterwards. We'll now go back for another scrum. Go Argentina, please. Win this one from South Africa. Ford is way better than Sam Prendergast. He controls the game with his boot. Says Jack. And what's for breakfast after the game? Oh, I haven't actually thought about it. I've gone through weird cravings. Not cravings, but just food that I feel like I want during this live stream. I would say that, you know, the first thing that I kind of wanted at about 1 a.m. was something from the McDonald's breakfast menu, but the nearest McDonald's is 30 minutes away, so that's probably not happening. Then at about 3 a.m. I felt like pizza. But then by 5 a.m. I was sick of the idea of pizza. And now I don't know what I want. So I'll probably have like toast. Something like that. Now, big push there from England. Again, will get themselves the penalty. This time it's scrum time. Make sure he/she looks like a Hamish. Says Lilia B. And pizza says roof, sausages, eggs and beans. I have eggs. I don't think I've got either of the other two. George Ford has been a Lion before, right? Has he been in the squad but hasn't got a Lions cap? Is that the go with George Ford? I'm trying to think back to whether or not he was there for 2019, and 2021 in South Africa. I don't think he was. He might have been injured or just didn't get selected, because I know they flew over Marcus Smith, didn't they, as a bit of a late change. We have got their Ireland almost at 100, says Mohadeen. Please, Argentina make it a victory for the Southern Hemisphere, says Molly Lagrange. Again, it will be claimed by England at line-out time. Tom Willis wrestled down. Ben Spencer almost played at by Juan Matan Gonzalez. 22 metres out. Spencer, short ball. Almost a Ben Earl-esque kind of run there from Sam Underhill. Cross kick now. Going to go deep into the Argentine 22, and the mark is called by Elizalde. Ford has never been, so he's never even made it in as like an injury cover for the British and Irish Lions. That's quite surprising, to be fair. Get yourself a curry, mate, says Johnny. I don't know whether or not any curry places are open at 9 a.m. in a small town that I live in. Oh, you know what, that was a bit rough for Benitez Cruz. His legs were not working. He was gradually falling further and further down as he went for the pass. Sausage, eggs, bacon, tomatoes, mushrooms, and black pudding is a must for an English breakfast, says Akardis. See, the sad thing is, like, the local cafe is not open on a Sunday. So they actually have a breakfast, but I can't get one because they're not open. I think you might need some good South African biltong, So here's Michael. Now, well taken again. Is biltong a breakfast food, or is it more of like a snack in the afternoon or evening? Argentina have the ball. Popping it up. Montoya goes to Simon Benitez Cruz again. Elizalde running in to join the breakdown. Picardo away to the left. And final score, Ireland 106 to Portugal 7. That's a bad scoreline, isn't it? For Portugal. Massive scoreline for Ireland, of course. But yeah, that one will hurt the Portuguese for quite some time, I would think. Kiwi lads at Smithy Toilet. Welcome back, mate. Riley Freeman. I never realised originally that you were Riley. I don't believe. I know that you were also Mike Jones Sr., if I'm correct. I didn't realise you were also Riley. Have Ireland got the ton? And then they are the team of the week. Congrats, Irish. And heard the Argentinians can make a great braai, says Suckable. They do love a bit of meat, Argentina. They also love giving away penalties because that's about their fifth in the first 13 minutes of this game. The Centurion, says Gluten. Now kick for touch for George Ford. Portugal, hey, at least we scored. Says Big Rig Joe. And steak and eggs is delicious, but for breakfast, says Big Rig. It would make you, well, that's the thing. Is it breakfast if I haven't slept yet? Or is it considered a late dinner? Because if it's a late dinner, then I could have anything. What's the stadium behind you? It is the stadium that they're playing at. I can't remember the name if I'm being honest, but it is the stand in the background. But now, going to be the step there for Ignacio Mendy. And also, do you think the last try of the Bok was a touch, or was the try fair? I thought at the time he was out, but like it is one of those ones that didn't really change the outcome of the game. So I was surprised at how long they spent looking at it. Biltong is the go-to when watching rugby, says Michael. And as a snack for sure, I love chili sticks, says Sue. Chair Hamish, you remember Smithy Toilet? I do indeed. You ended up having that name for a lot longer than you initially were going to, didn't you? You had it for about a couple years. Because it was going to be a running joke for about, I think you were going to have it for a couple weeks, but then you kept it almost full times. But kick crossfield, goes into touch. England not quite getting there. Now Argentina, they will have the line out from about 10 metres out from their line. Steak and eggs as an American breakfast. And Doug from Valencia, Spain. Love your commentaries, Hampshire. Says, Doug, I do appreciate you being here for this contest. We just see that one going into touch. Will Muir not quite getting there. And then, yeah, just a bit of a foot trip, but not on purpose. I think they just ended up running into the same spot. I'll be disappointed if Argentina don't improve this time, says Gluten FC. And for breakfast, Balder's fried eggs, toast and a tomato. See, these are all great breakfast ideas. And I have to really think hard about what I actually want for breakfast now. So tell me, Hamish, who's your fly half for the British and Irish Lions? I'd probably go Finn Russell. I think their head do all right. In that department, I said that so weirdly, didn't I? We have got there, I reckon Tupove will be the best blind side in the world. He's a beast. Says Riley. And also, fair shout, bro. It's been a long old day for you. Come on, England, Bristol Bears supporter. Says Alec. And Hamish, not Hampshire. I assumed that I knew what you meant, but I also thought that maybe because England are playing them was some sort of relation to a location in England too. Now Spencer to feed the ball in. Currently 16 minutes into this contest. Still 7 points to 3. Scrambled eggs and smoked salmon on a muffin. Now, when you say a muffin, right, you're talking about like the kind of like the breaded, like the crumpet type muffin, rather than like an actual like chocolate chip muffin, right? I assume. Like what you'd have from McDonald's, how they have a McMuffin. That type of thing. Spell check is a bugger, says David. It can be, yeah. Although sometimes when it doesn't correct a word for you, it can be just as bad. And hang on, Wales, finally we won a test. That trumps everything. I might be a bit drunk on the back of that, says Fleshin. And also the Lions can put Furlong at 10 and they still win. Says Riley, in fact, Fleshin, you're actually a very good man to ask this question. Did Gareth put something in the WhatsApp about not being able to comment? Because at the moment, my new phone doesn't have my WhatsApp on it. My old phone does, but now my old phone won't turn on. So, if possible, would you be able to let me know what he's said in there, whether or not it's some sort of thing that someone's timed him out or whether it's just his account, perhaps. And the Lions can put Furlong at 10 and they'll still win. Johnny, that is fantastic. East Benedict is great as well, says Akaris, but a massive scrum again coming from England, but too much movement. So they will reset it once more. Ooh, bread and chocolate, yuck. Have you had a chocolate croissant, though? Because those things slap, as the cool kids say. Or what else is there? Chocolate hot cross bun. They go all right. Chocolate waffles. Maybe. If you're next in South Africa, I'll give you some of my special homemade biltong. And a clippies. And Coach says, Michael, chocolate chip muffin with tomato sauce and breakfast patty. Be a bit brutal, wouldn't it? Who knows? Maybe it would be good, though. If you're hungry enough, anything tastes good. That's possibly not true. Ruben Love for 10 for the All Blacks next week, I reckon, says Riley. Could happen. It's going to be a hard one to predict, so I'm not looking forward to trying to get that one right. Now, putting the big push in there, and the penalty goes the way of Argentina this time. I believe it was England scrummaging just a little bit on the angle. Just wondering if you know the highest score New Zealand match after that Irish or record Irish win. I believe they beat Japan 130, I want to say. One moment. All Blacks highest score. Up against the Japanese, 145 in that match they were able to get. Leo Willie should stay at 8 over Satiti, in my opinion. Bring Satiti back at the end of year tour. Did you eat anything between streams? I had a small snack. Just give me pause and crayfish all day, says Andre. Apparently the UK is responsible for over 80% of the world's baked beans consumption, over 2,000 or 2 million cans a day. Although that is also, I guess the beans go either with the breakfast, or I've seen that, is it called a jacket potato? That has beans on it normally, so that's probably a fair bit of them too. Kick down field, all into touch. And England decide to take it quickly. We're 20 minutes in at the moment, 7 points to the 3. Just a one try scored by Seb Atkinson. Up for the high ball, knocked on in the end by the English. Now Pablo Matera in his 111th game. Oh, that was a brutal shot from Ben Curry, who has managed to get the turnover in the process. I think Matera took a knock to the head there, though. They may have to check that one. Is the red card back to full match ban? 20-minute red call now, or red card rule gone? I actually don't fully know, if I'm honest with you. I know that they said that it was not going to be checked. So I don't know whether or not that is because it was just a straight red no matter what, all knock on there from Theo Dan. Late change here for the English. Jamie George, different George, on his way to Australia at this point in time. I think Australia beat Namibia 142-0. And one of the World Cup, says Big Rig Joe. Okay, never back on side. Another penalty. You as a Kiwi do not want to publicise Gareth's anti-AB's rant, amigo. Fully backed up by Grant. Okay, I see. It's probably, but why wasn't he able to comment on the chat? Maybe because is it bad? Perhaps. So thanks for the commentary. Says Brick Fiend, no worries at all. We're going to see the shot here on Pablo Matera. Did look like Curry hit him high, but he was also dipping down a little bit. We're going to see the replay now. Yep, that's bad from Ben Curry. That is a shoulder to the head. Not a lot of arm wraps. This is more than likely going to be a yellow for Curry here. And like they've said, it is foul play, although I'm disturbed to learn they didn't have jacket potatoes in New Zealand. Says Big Rig. Yeah, we don't really have that. I know that Australia's starting to catch on ever since those guys did the whole, is it the Spud Bros? Is that what they're called on YouTube? The ones who do the jacket potatoes out of the van. I think that ever since that happened, there are more Australians starting to do them. But I don't think they've caught on here in New Zealand as of yet. We have got there, we fart so much in the UK because we have loins of steel, says Brick there. Yeah, he was going down a little bit, Pablo Matera, in terms of the height. So I think that this is probably going to be a yellow because Curry didn't really attempt to wrap. He turns into it a little bit with the shoulder. There's a yellow all day, says Sue. Yeah, I think it's going to be a yellow card. I'll be surprised if it's upgraded to a red, but we've seen less than that still given. Okay, so George Ford just asking the question, is it going to be a review as well? And yes, it will be. Everything that's given as a yellow card normally is checked, but I don't think he'll be too in danger for that shot time curry, other than the lack of arm wrap. That might be the one thing that hurts him in that department. England always have a problem with armless tackles. Farrell is the poster boy for it. And greetings, James from the USA, says Gary. Welcome in. Of course, USA, the side that England are going to be facing next week. No, it's because you eat your body weight in baked beans, says Gareth. It looks like a yellow all day to me, says Akaris. And come on, the Pumas, what happened so far? So far, we have seen the try from Seb Atkinson. We saw Jamie George not playing in this game because he has been called into the Lion squad due to the injury of Luke Cowan-Dickie. Argentina have had quite a few handling errors, unfortunately, throughout the last little patch. And Ben Curry just got himself a yellow card for not really wrapping in the tackle and hitting Matera high. But other than that, that's about it. Hi, Rugby, says Lilia B. And there, and come on the Pumas, says Andrew Neal. And there as well, and also hello again, darling. I hope you're having fun, says Roof. Now thrown in. Argentina, loose ball, picked up by Pedro Rubiolo. And here go Pumas, says Nas. Big shot on Francisco Gomez Cordella. And on Farrell, School of Tackling, says Gary. I'm told to use it here for Benitez Cruz. They lost probably about 10 or 15 metres just in that 3 or 4 phases. Argentina under the high ball. Freddie Stewart safe as houses before he is tackled by Elizalde. Spencer. Go back across to Theo Dam with a good attacking run. Heat and Rugby, says Andrew. And England will defeat all of them, or will defeat all before them and win the World Cup, says Brick. Well, they did win the last World Cup in Australia. Oh, nice stepping from Inacio Mendy. 20 metres out from the line. Penalty goes the way of England, diving in off the feet. It's a poor one to give away if you're Argentina when you've just started to mount an offence. And come on, England, get another try, says George. And Puma is not the guy right now. Come on, be that guy. And come on, Pumas, please, says Anthony. And who is playing? Just kidding, says Albert there. And so as long as New Zealand and South Africa aren't playing, and I love the commentary, can you give a shout out to the University of Nottingham Rugby Club and West Bridgeford Rugby Club for snacks, toast, jam, and crumble. Some cheddar cheese on top plus tea. Sounds all right. So the Nottingham Rugby Club and the West Bridgeford Rugby Club. How many members are there of each of those clubs, by the way? Because I know that, like, the local club here, because we're from a small town, you've got maybe, like, I'd say, across all age groups, maybe 150, 200 if you're really lucky, in terms of all the primary school levels all the way up to the seniors. And Theo Dan will be nailed on starting too for England within a year, says Johnny. Well, the good news is he runs the ball hard. He's not afraid to take contact. Oh, nice sniping run from Benitez Cruz. Now, pick and go. And breaking through for Juan Martin Gonzalez. Gets through one, but Theo Dan almost put him into touch. A little bit of afters there between an Argentine and an Englishman on the near side of the field. Benitez Cruz. No, not accidental, Pie Man. He meant it. And penalty wrong way. England diving off the feet. Says I lollipop. And we have got there these days. We want to see teddy bear hugs only. A little bit of force will be, or have you banned for at least 3 weeks, says Sue. Was the red card in South Africa, Italy game accidental? It wasn't accidental. He did mean to do it, but, like, yeah, he didn't get as much contact with it as he could have, but it was still just really dumb from Jasper Wiese around the back pass from Argentina as they sit 45 metres out from the English try line. How cold is it in New Zealand? Jacket potatoes. Says Scott, at the moment where I am, it is 8 degrees Celsius. South Africa no more. All Blacks from now on. Says Andre. Now offloaded there for Santiago Carreras, who jumps over the breakdown. Now chance to link up, just can't quite get it there, and it's a knock on from Los Pumas again. And also for you, who can make a try at England, I think that Will Muir, if he's given any sort of space out on that left wing side, can just run over the top of anyone in front of him. But Tom Roebuck's probably not a bad shout either. Was watching the commentary this morning during the Scottish game. When do you sleep? I've actually not slept yet. We have covered, from then we did All Blacks versus France with an extra hour build-up beforehand. We did AUNZ versus British and Irish Lions. I then did South Africa versus Italy with an hour extra build-up, and then now we're here. So, yeah, we're still going. And holds the ball, says Blues Nate. Only 2 or 3 box players from today playing for the Bok will be in the team playing the ABs. And still they got a good win with 14 players, says Albert. And do Kiwis miss having Los Jaguares in Super Rugby? I think there are quite a few people who do miss the Argentine side just because they added something a little bit different. Pumas handling is shocking. It has been awful throughout this 2-match series up against the English and certainly has cost them drastic opportunities. And it is going to now be the scrum feed sitting 24 minutes through this contest. The Curry card is still at a yellow. I don't think it will be upgraded. What time is it by you? It is currently 8:11 a.m. So our first live stream started yesterday at 2:50-ish in the afternoon. So we have been going on and off for, I don't even know what that maths would be, probably about 18 hours. That's quite a few, actually, but it is almost true. What's your not sleep all night secret, bro? Come on, mate. I don't know, to be honest. I think it's because there's so many live streams back to back. Like, I only have about an hour in between, and I know that if I sleep, then I'm going to fall asleep for far too long or get more tired. So normally it's just accept the fact that you're going to be exhausted and just power through it, which sometimes can be easier said than done. But England managed to win their scrum, 22 metres out from their own line, and they will be able to kick this one into touch, 9-11 here in Edinburgh. And Portugal only has 1 professional player in their squad, says Albert. You might need some KFC, bro. Sadly, KFC is 30 minutes drive there and 30 minutes drive back. So it would be a big old cruise to go get it. I probably wouldn't be the one who had to drive. I was really hoping to see New Zealand AU side would perform better. Maybe the Aussie and New Zealand style rugby clash too much to play on the same side. A little bit, but also I do think because they hadn't played together, that did definitely affect the way that they went. Cheers, mate, for the shout-out. 175 senior players. Oh, break it through. We'll come back to that in a second because Argentina linking up there. Benitez Cruz gets it to Lucio Cinti, who does score the try. Atkinson diving at his knees after scoring it, and a little bit of back and forth now between the two teams. But Argentina, they will take the lead in this contest now. The crowd, they are loving it. 26 minutes through. They will lead for the first time in this whole series, I believe. But yeah, 175 senior players for the University Club Top 10 uni in the UK. For West Bridgeford, it is 2/3 senior teams, 150 members, but another 300 across the younger age group. So quite a big club in that regard. So hopefully it is all going well and they are all enjoying the rugby. But yeah, a bit of an awkward one from Seb Atkinson. I think he tried to slap the ball away, but in turn kind of took out the players' legs from underneath him. Do they have delivery service? Nah. Although dinner, has now become something that you can get delivered from one of our only restaurants in the town, but that's only dinner time delivery. A bit of a mission there, bro, says Andrew. That kick is good from Carreras. Will now make the score 10 points to 7. And then Scotland versus Samoa, Australia versus Lions, All Blacks versus France, South Africa versus Georgia, USA versus England, Argentina versus Uruguay next weekend. Yeah, we're going to be covering, I believe, about 5 of those ones out of the 6, only because 2 of the games do overlap. Let me get a magnifying glass, see if you've got a bit of powder substance around your nostrils. Says Naz Williams. Yeah, see, I don't know how I have this much energy because I'm only on the water at this point in time. Some of you say that it's vodka, but it is just the H2O. I was wrong with the All Blacks. I assume that is from Reece Bell. I mean, they didn't do too badly in their game up against the French, to be fair to them. The other thing I'm hoping to see is a score of 150, says Xander, but that is now a penalty for Argentina. Benitez Cruz decides to take the quick dip and run away. It seems like Argentina trying to up the tempo here and see if they can tire out the English. Benitez Cruz goes across again now. Drop ball from Thomas Garchot, who got absolutely smashed there. It looked like he was hit almost in the face by Charlie Yules. They might just have to check that one too. Are you Argentina next week? Says Mojadina. I haven't actually decided which game we're doing for the overlap between Argentina versus Uruguay and England versus USA. There's a chance we'll end up doing that England-USA one, just for something that little bit different. And Champion Mate says Nars Williams. Plus, well, it may not be the closer game, but I'll know a few more USA players than I will know Uruguayans. And because Alfie Kiwi says Andrew Nell. We're going to see the shot there on Garcho. Yeah, he was hit pretty late. What did you think about the AB's game? They looked a lot better than the first match, although I will say France did look like they struggled just to find the gelling of the new players. Like that first group, I think, would have done a lot better had they been playing again. But for France, this series is about testing out those new players. Like I would have loved to see Gilliard, Fisher, Galfiku, as well as also Villiers all start in this second match too. But they didn't. So, yeah, it was an interesting game. About how you'd think the first one would have went, but it, of course, didn't. And we have got there, come on, England, don't disappoint me like this so far for my day. I guessed all the right teams, says Jan Fenter, and Argentina waste their penalties. I don't know why they insist on the tap and go, and they don't trust their line-out. Kicking for territories helps sometimes, says Sue. But yeah, hopefully you are doing well as well, Rugby Itch. Hopefully all your studying is going as smoothly as it can. I'm sure you've been absolutely stressed to the max throughout the last little while. I think we're kind of obligated to keep an eye on the USA since they're going to be hosting the 2031 Rugby World Cup. And yeah, I do want to see how those guys from the MLR do play for the USA. From where is Georgia? The Georgia are from Georgia. But it is Europe, isn't it, for Georgia? But then they also are close to, they're kind of on the border of Europe and Asia, aren't they? Is that where Georgia are? I'm going to have to look at a world map soon. I can tell you what their flag looks like, but I can't tell you where exactly they are located. But they're right on that kind of cusp of being either location, aren't they? They are just saying Ben Curry, only a minute remaining until he will return. Eastern European, east of Turkey, says Albert. But now, ready to put this ball in Europe, says Gareth. And the big push from the English starting to march forward again at scrum time, winning another penalty advantage. Used to be part of the old Soviet Union, says Sakabula. We have there, it's Europe, but next to Turkey and Armenia. And Georgia are Eastern European, says Johnny there. As Farrell, so Farrell is out of England, hence why he's in the lines. Oh, Will Merritt down the wing. He almost busted through 2 tackles. Now Ben Spencer going across. Great one-on-one defense and great one-on-one strip from Pablo Matera. Pedro Rubiolo up to 30 minutes passing. This game. Georgia is Eastern Europe, so yes, you about have it, says Akaris. And, but yeah, so Farrell was out of England, hence he is in the Lions. Thought he was England's first choice fly half, says Xander. He was also Andy Farrell's choice for the British and Irish Lions, although he proved exactly why in the way that he played up against the AUNZ side today. He seemed to have a lot of composure from that midfield. There are no friendlies when rankings are at stake. It's the last year for seeding, says so. And yeah, there will be a lot of changes that happen in the world rankings overall throughout the next few months. Seb Atkinson, straightening run there too. Looks like another turnover in the breakdown from Argentina. Just a lack of ball security at the moment from the English, but 22 metres still out from their own line here, the Pumas. Cool. Stalin was from Georgia, says Alec, and ball skills out there. No super glue needed for England, says Blues Nate. Now inside ball. England's defence once again proving to be extremely difficult, and another knock on from Argentina. Trying to take that one quickly was Inacio Mendy, but I believe the man on the ground did not let it go. And they are big mad. They don't get all the attention Italy gets. They won in the Six Nations, says Big Rick. And we have good there. It's Europe, next to Turkey and Armenia, says Big Rig. But yeah, it's unfortunate for Georgia because, you know, they are a side that that Six Nations thing's been going on for a while, but then they did just lose to the Cheetahs, a South African club side. So that, of course, doesn't really help the argument. I mean, Wales, they were on a massive losing streak, but they managed to turn it around in their game up against Japan. You'll be hoping that the 100-plus scorelines in international matches were a thing of the past. Says Pie Man. Yeah, we saw a few get close to it in that Rugby World Cup, and I do think we'll see a few get close to it in the 2027 World Cup as well. An idea how rugby made it as far as Georgia. Rugby not that big in that region. Says Albert. And Italy gets whooped by the other 5 nations half the time. Says Big Rig. That's half the time. Sometimes they get themselves the win themselves. I'm repeating myself a lot in my sentences. I've realized I'm starting a sentence, or like halfway through a sentence I'm saying a word, and then I'm finishing that sentence with that same word. I think it's just my brain not processing fast enough. Georgia lost to the Free State yesterday. Says Sakaboli, 24 points to 20 in that match. Seen some interesting results over the weekend, I will mention. Like, that was probably about the only close game that we've actually had. You could argue that Wales-Japan, 9 points difference, kind of close, but Fiji-Scotland separated by the 15 points. And then from there, the next closest game was probably New Zealand-France, or the British and Irish Lions on Wednesday. Nice run forward from Tommy Roebuck. England 10 metres out from the line with a penalty advantage here too. Sam Underhill, pick and go, tackled low. Bit of a counter-ruck, no footing underneath him for the Argentine player. George Ford picking the right pass, out wide, low one, but scored in the corner for the English. It is Freddie Stewart who crosses the try line on Muir's wing. And 12 points to 10 now, England getting that lead back. A look at Hong Kong, just qualified for the World Cup, says Big Rig Joe. And I just wish the NFL wasn't so big in the USA. Imagine how strong the USA team would be if rugby was the national sport there. Says Big Rig Joe. And it would be great for the global world of rugby as well in terms of the amount of extra attention. Ilya Taporia is originally from Georgia. He is, isn't he? And then now trains out of Spain, I believe. When's the next time he's fighting? Is he fighting Paddy Pimblett now as his next big fight? I see that today Derek Lewis is taking on Teleson Teixeira. That'll be a fight and a half. Stephen Thompson, or Wonderboy, as people would probably know him more so as, is on that main card too. Calvin Cater. Some good fighters on that one. I'll probably be asleep by then, I would think. And now, ball has gone over for the English, sitting now 14 points to 10. There was a good Kiwi coach heading up Georgia not long ago, says Roy. And I get Hong Kong as Britain foreign territory, but Georgia, says Albert, and Bugaboo England, says Naz Williams. And Freddie, a wee belter, says Johnny. But yeah, no one in front of him. Able to finish it off. Thumbs up from the touch judge. One of the first yawns of the day, I believe that was, but Santiago Carreras kicking it off high and long. Taken by, it was big number 8, Tom Willis. I will mention Ben Curry has made his way back out onto the field now also. And rugby is Georgia's national sport at this time. Fair shout to them. Let's all help them into the family of rugby, says Alec. It will be great to see them play up against South Africa because I want to say the last time they played the South Africans would have actually been 2021, I think it was. I think it was right back when we were starting our channel. Maybe not 2021. Oh no, it was 2021. One of the games we cancelled due to, of course, the positive tests. But that first match, 40 points to 9. The last time that the Georgians actually did play up against South Africa. Now backline movement here for England again. This is where we get a little bit more dangerous for Los Pumas. Kicked him on. Ben Spencer chasing after it, but grounded in the in-goal area by Argentina. We got a donation from Big Rig too. Thank you very much, mate, for your generosity. I was a crack-up stare down for Lewis, says Naz Williams. He's always going to give you some sort of entertainment across the board, whether that is for the fight or whether that is just going to be outside of it. Have they announced a date for Dracus du Plessis yet? Oh, they have. 17th of August. We're going to have to keep an eye on that one. In fact, 17th of August sounds like a rugby weekend. Okay, first round of the Rugby Championship for the 17th of August. That's when South Africa do play Australia. We'll see how that one goes between those two. Might even have to cover it on the channel. We haven't done a lot of UFC. Another penalty goes the way of England. They're starting to take control of this game quite well here. And Carrera's very quiet at the moment. Where's that explosive game, Pumas? And this will be Muir's second and final cap, says Mark Loveday. So you do think that, so you're not giving him a chance up against USA next week, Mark? And come on, England, time to increase this 4-point lead before halftime, says Georgia. The Springboks organised Georgia sport bags for their gear during the 1995 World Cup. Georgian team had no sponsors and literally came to games with their gear in shopping bags. Says Sakabula, where's your dog? Says Uko, I didn't know I had a dog, so I guess very lost at this point in time. So lost that I've never actually seen it. And Hamish, will England leapfrog France to fourth in the world rankings if they win here? I think they need a big win from memory, but we'll have a quick look at the world rankings calculator. That's going to be a penalty this time. Argentina, 3 metres from their line. You should get a dog. They're awesome. I think I would like to get a dog one day. Don't know what type to get, though. Mio has been excellent at Bath, to be honest. Says Johnny, where's Romanian rugby? So at the moment, Romania do sit in 21st. Now, in their game most recently, they were playing up against, I think it was Uruguay, which does mean that they don't gain any points, I don't think, in the overall world rankings. But for this game, if England were to win by the margin that they do here, they would not move up too high in the rankings. But if they were able to win this game, okay, so even if they won this game by 16 plus, England still will be 0.06 behind the French. So England could actually overtake them if New Zealand beat France next game. You look more like a cat person. My cat died a little while ago from old age, but yeah, I've had a cat, but I haven't had a dog in my lifetime. Get yourself Border Terrier, excellent dogs, says Johnny there. And dogs are my favourite kinds of humans. And Merley will get the gig versus USA. He will not get many caps either, says Mark. And that is the trouble for these guys getting chances while there is a British and Irish Lions tour. Of course, when those guys come back, they do normally get the caps once again. Tom Willis off to the right-hand side now to Finn Baxter. That's one of the first times we mentioned that man's name throughout this contest, which is surprising because they have won a lot of scrum penalties. And now get a misses, bro, says Andrew. Yeah, well, at the moment, I haven't got any pets and I haven't got any misses either. That one's gone into touch. Looks like Argentina will have the throw. 1 minute remaining in this first half. Get a dog that suits your lifestyle. If you're active, get an active dog, says Sakabula. So I would have to get a non-active dog based off my current activity levels. Very good there, regardless of the world rankings. France is a better team than England right now. Anyone who says otherwise is dishonest, says a big rig. But yeah, it will be intriguing to see how it sits with the Rugby World Cup draw, because that could change a lot for the sides. Of course, the last one was drawn so early. This one's drawn a little bit closer to the date of the tournament. Benitez, Cruz going back across the left-hand side. One last chance for Los Pumas. They've decided to kick it away again, although 50-22. I was a little bit too quick to judge that kick. It just seemed like another one where they just booted it away for the sake of it. And yes, then get a non-active breed. Billy always looking out for Hamish. There's a Blues Nate there with the Billy emoji. And if France are so much better, why did England win the last game? Says Hammerheim. Probably not a bad argument, although I do think that, like, November-wise, they're going to be very close on those world rankings, and it honestly could go either way. The good news is because of the amount of groups in the Rugby World Cup, I believe both of them will come in as a number one qualifier. Now, line-out throw here for Julian Montoya, sitting 22 metres out. The draw will be done in December. It certainly will be. We'll be doing a live stream for the watch-along of that. Carreras, little chip behind. That was silly. Although that was even sillier. What a stupid play from England. Not putting that ball down for some reason. They were in their own in-goal area. They could have just booted that one dead. They could have pushed it down. But instead, giving Argentina a chance to be able to grab it. And Ignacio Mendy will score it. what happens here for England? Because that was really bad. It looked like something that should have just been well controlled. It was a kick in behind. You can just boot that one dead. You can do anything with it. Freddie Stewart, does it just brush the post perhaps? And he misreads it. And yes, Pumas says Sakabul. I don't see why France wants to be good if they can't share their best selves with the rest of us. I couldn't care less if they rank 5th or 10th, to be honest, says Sue. I don't like that it's 6 groups of 4. Should be 4 of 6 teams. And also a good one, England. Give that silliness up shot, says Nars Williams. But it does give Argentina now the lead going into the halftime break. 17 points to 14. I see you with a small whippet dog, says Albert there. That was a great game, and England aren't a bad team at all. But all things considered, France are still stronger. They won the tournament, says Big Rig Joe. And also, you've got there, thanks, Jean. And there from Roof. But yeah, halftime, much higher scoring than the last time we saw these two sides play off. It is 17 points to 14. Argentina, there's been about 4 or 5 lead changes in this match already. The Los Pumas sit there with the lead just for now. We have good there. Does your mustache get itchy? It actually doesn't. I'm probably quite lucky because for some reason I don't get itchy facial hair. You know how some people say how once they try and kind of grow it out, their beard gets itchy or anything like that. Like mine seems to be fine. And yeah, common Pumas do them and get a stuffed one, no walkies and no stuff to pick up, says Gareth. And also we have got there, how on earth did none of the English players get that one, I assume that would be. I see you as a St. Bernard guy, says Big Rig Joe. And also, what about a German Shepherd, says Roof. All very good options, of course. And one with the car blood. Then she will go get the KFC, says Andrew Neal. I started shaving at 8 years old, says Albert. And bro, when you said my cat died, I was so gutted. What a warrior for England, not your cat, says Phil. Yeah, no, sorry, I should have probably clarified, shouldn't I? And I went to marinate my pork belly to come back to this ray of sunshine scoreline. And apparently the Huntaway in New Zealand, or is New Zealand's only indigenous breed. I've never heard of it, says Big Rick. And Albert, your legs, says Sakabilla. One moment, I am about to sneeze, so I will quickly mute for a second. We are good. This itchy hair conversation could go wrong, says Lilia B. Hugo Porter Styles will win this one. And also, I believe she says Zakabula. And apparently, oh no, I read that one, didn't I? And started shaving everywhere, says Albert. I don't know how to respond to that, I'll be honest. My brain's too tired to dive into it. And we good, let's go, Amish, says Blues Nate. Yeah, second half, only about the 10 minutes away, I would say. And Pumas need to pounce, says Ruth. Yeah, they'll need 1 or 2 more tries, I would say, at least here. And poor from England, they should have gotten the ball and kicked it away. That would have prevented Argentina from going into halftime ahead. Yeah, it just seemed a little bit too casual from the English. And Carreras, initially, it looked like it was a bit of a nothing kick. And England should have had it under control, but they had anything but it under control for that one. These are the next games for the two sides. For England, they have got their game up against the USA. That is going to be taking place on the 20th of July for us here in New Zealand. I believe that will still be the 19th of July for you guys in South Africa as well as England. And then for Argentina, there they are. They will be going up against Uruguay in their game next week at the same time as this game kicked off, also taking place in Argentina. So 3 home matches for the Argentines. They will be heading north in November though. And we have got their no-killer instinct from England tonight, not taking advantage of Argentina's mistakes. Says Big Rig. In conversation gone wrong. And a Doberman, bro, they're cool. And I'll watch out for mum too, says Andrew. If you got itchy hair, either got dandruff, lice, or crabs, says Lamatasi, and shaved cats especially, says Andre. And that's weird, shaving under armpits is ticklish, says Ruth. How did we end up in this direction, ladies and gentlemen? It just goes like that sometimes on the late night ones, doesn't it? We just go off on a weird tangent. But off the bench for this contest, Theo Dan will not be the number 16 for the English. That is due to him getting promoted into the starting side. Instead, off that bench, they have got Curtis Langdon as their choice. And then also Bevan Rod in that front row. Chandler Cunning himself normally loves to fire up. Alex Donbrandt the same. Jack Van Porflier and also Murley as the number 23 for the Argentinians. They have got a few new names in there, but also some familiar faces. Fernando Eza in the number 20. Grondona as the 21. Lucas Paulos and Vivas. Another man to keep an eye on. I just showing the highlights of the first half. A 31-point first half compared to last game. You notice the All Blacks made that silly white collar slightly smaller this year. So yeah, it did shrink a little bit, didn't it? And get a Johnson American Bulldog, like my dog Sumo in the picture. Make sure you train him to the lead as a pup, though. Otherwise, he'll be hanging on to the white Jonah Lomu. Or you'll be hanging on to the white Jonah Lomu. He looks like a big boy. Right, he looks like he could definitely pull me over well and truly. We have good there. Do you play yourself, brother Hamish? Rugby, that is. I do not know. I used to play back in my day, but not now. Body's not built for it. And best dog is to get as a mongrel. A lot less health issues, says Pyman. And also we have our Bichon Frise. Don't shed if you're worried about dog here. Says Big Rig. And also we have got there, I'm not crazy about those new ABs in the box jerseys. Says Ruth. What a handsome boy, says Blues Nate. Of course, talking about the dog that did pop up on the screen. They're just showing that try again. One for Lucio Cinti, one for Inacio Mendy. And big dogs eat and a lot, says Albert, but similar to humans, I guess. And a collar represents the righteous purity, says Andre. Freddie Stewart, he was able to score for England. And also we did see Seb Atkinson score the first try of the match for the English. They have got 2 converted tries. That is all throughout this match. They haven't opted to take any threes. Slamming down hard, Freddie Stewart in that finish. The ground does look a little bit dry in places. And then just that kick from Carreras. Freddie Stewart, he should have done a bit better than that. He was on the wrong side of the post to start with. What position? I was out on the wing, believe it or not. But we had a coach whose son was the first 5 and another coach whose son was the halfback. And they pretty much taught those two never to pass the ball. So we'd lose a lot of games. But, you know, you touch the ball once in a season because they would just never pass it out and then consistently lose the ball. So it was just tackling all year. And it just, you know, it was a bit rough. I like cat dogs. But make you really effed, says Lamatasi. And let's go, boys. Smash it, Puma, says Roof. Score prediction. I did say at the start of this game, either side by 7. And I do think I do still stick with that. So, either side by 7 still what I'm going. I don't like the box jersey either, but it looks better on person. The material is good, says Sue. And dogs make you really... make you cry, I assume. That is after 4 years of friendship. So I think it's safe to say you'll have a dog by next weekend, says Pie Man. I appreciate the stream as always, pal. Come on, England, says Callum. Yeah, very close game between these two teams. Either way, I think someone will get a bit of a boost in the world rankings. We'll go like this and go like this. At the moment, the world rankings calculator. So for Argentina, they can go up to, well, they can stay in 6th and actually close that gap with England quite substantially. Whereas for the English, a close game here puts them just that little bit closer. Oh, in fact, no, sorry. If England win this game by 16 or more, Argentina drop to 7th. Australia get promoted from 8th into 6th. So that would be a big boost in that regard for them. So yeah, plenty of movement happening, and not for a car. You could get a ground. I've got 4, says Jeff Smith. Is that a dog in your picture too, Jeff? I'm going to click on it, and hopefully it is. That is a dog. There you go. A ground. Is that like hip way of saying a greyhound, perhaps? And also, I don't really care about rankings, mate. Last World Cup, we was really good, and we were meant to be bad. So here's Callum. Although this year, I would say that the rankings do matter a little bit, because we are looking at, you're in a situation where this year in particular, you could go up, you could go down, you could get a Build World Cup draw, and then from there, you can kind of find a way towards, I guess, planning. That was not a sentence. I apologize, ladies and gents. My brain just switched off. Had to rev the engine a little bit. That sounds a bit dodgy, actually. I won't say that. Had to wake myself up and finish that sentence because I could hear myself rambling and I was never getting to the end of it. Pick and Pay, a bit corny on the box jersey, but the Spurs ad takes the cringe cake. Says Sakabula, and they do all the ball carry but no defence. 13 including Hamish are doing all the Ds. Stink coach. Says Blues Nate. And if Aussie gets to 6th, it will make a complete joke of the world ranking, says Andre. But yeah, they would go up to 6 purely because they haven't played. Which is, it's beneficial for them. And where would you put the British and Irish Lions in the world rankings right now, just for fun? They'd have to be top 5, wouldn't they? Somewhere in there. I don't know whether I'll go any higher than 3. It would be a bit generous, I would say, but it's hard to say because they need to play consistently and they need to play some top opposition, which hopefully we will find out whether or not Australia are competitive. And that one, get free weed from a Snoop Dogg, says Nars Williams. And that there as well. And also we've got the Aussie go up to 7th, don't they, says Rab. If England win this game comfortably because of the Scotland loss, it would actually mean that they can boost right up to 6th. So currently Australia, I believe, are already 7th in the world rankings. But if they can if Argentina get knocked down quite drastically, that's where the bigger adjustment can happen. And Vamos Pumas, I'm suffering here. Some players seem to have some soap in their hands, says one. We've seen a lot of drop ball from Argentina throughout this game, unfortunately. But good finish from Ignacio Mendy in that first half to keep on chasing that possession. I would say second half is probably only about 2 minutes away for strictly medicinal purposes, of course. Says Nars Williams. And also we have got the Sakabula Hug, says Lilia B. And also we have got the yeah, it's the worst. Lost my old girl 16 earlier this year. Sorry to hear that, Sakabula. And I like Snoopy Fobby Fob. And also Shay Guivares. Bet the Richard English, says Sonny. And also, yeah, Jack Russell's a brainy. And come on, get it together. Second half come out firing, says Ruth. One moment, we'll go like this. I want to check the odds for this one. And see whether or not Argentina still the favourites. I know that they came in as favourites for this match. Hang on, I'll get it on my computer instead. It might be quicker. Phone taking a little while to load. We'll go like this, go like that. In fact, no, they won't actually show the live odds because they don't normally allow betting during the games for us here in New Zealand. So I won't actually see the odds. I believe Argentina will be favourites though. And we have got there England as a good fronter, to be honest. They're looking at, they're good at looking dangerous, but they fail to finish off in style or finish at all. Although we've got to remember that second half last week. England only had 3 points at halftime. They came out absolutely firing in that second 40 minutes. So I wouldn't be surprised if the English can do that again here. And as long as they're close, they've got a good shot in this contest. And we have there Jack Russells are also good eating. And all them tasty dog breeds, says Lamatasi. And greetings from Ireland, says Justin, welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. Of course, massive win for the Irish up against the Portuguese. I really hope that you already knew that, or else I've spoiled a game for you, so I do apologise if that is the case. Got the Stereophonics playing, says Fleschen. But two sides back out there on the park. We are now ready to go. We will go like this. And like that as well. There we go. And dog, we have got there eating. We'll just skip all those. Don't walk them around. Tara, they might disappear, says Andrew. I was joking. And also, all good mate, says Justin. And there as well. Freddie Stewart, he did score in the first half. Argentina now just making their way out of the changing sheds. And also, bang it, baby. Turn up the volume. England always kills us with the kicks. Please, no more mistakes this time, says Juan. And All Dogs and Cats Party with Hugh Hefner. And Play Dog Mansion says Blues Nate. If Argentina or if England win, will Argentina become Los Pumas? A little bit of a pun there for the start of the second half, it would seem. But they'd be disappointed to lose both games in Argentina in front of the home crowd. You know, it's not the time for two big losses in a row. You say that, but Argentina are winning, says Big Rig. That is true. They're currently in the lead at the moment in this matchup. And now Pablo Matera runs it straight and hard at Ben Curry. And that was an ugly collision for the two. It was legal. Curry has to be very careful with the tackles that he's making, seeing as he has got that yellow card. Both men slow to get back up to their feet. Awkward bouncing ball, but well claimed by Tommy Roebuck, who we didn't see a huge amount of with ball in hand throughout that first half. Argentina 4-6. England 11-8 odds in the UK, says Rob. And also we have got there woo, says Nars Williams, but the penalty early. It is going to go against Francisco Gomez Cordella, so England right back on the penalty train, per se. Well, Big Rig, that is news. And go the Pumas, says Nars Williams. And there too, George Ford ready to kick this one towards the corner. They aren't taking the threes here at this point in time, England. They want to go for the full sevens, rumour has it. Says Sai. Once again, we'll just try and get away from that conversation. Seeing as there is a game of rugby on, of course. I preferred the breakfast chat, to be fair. And now Theo Dan, ready to throw it in here for England. Looking straight into the sun. And again, it is taken by Ben Curry. Rolling maul, starting to move quite nicely. Isn't the Rugby World Cup draw before the Six Nations? It is, yes. So there are only really 3 or 4 games remaining for a lot of these Northern Hemisphere sides to get a better ranking on the Rugby World Cup draw. Oh, going back for the original penalty advantage in favour of the Argentines again. That is against Francisco Gomez Cordella. That's now 2 penalties in a row that man has given away. I feel like the hunger. I go for the try instead. And also, sorry, Average Let's Talk Rugby, says Sakabola there. That one's kicked into touch. Again, turning down the 3. Oh, okay. Change is about to be made. I think that's Francisco Gomez Cordella. That's a really smart switch from the coach in this regard, because he was just on the verge of maybe getting a yellow card. Had he given away maybe one more. Wednesday under 20 semis has taken place, and I believe it's 2 days' time. Will be South Africa versus Argentina, as well as New Zealand versus France. We will be covering both of those games on the channel too. And I change now, not at halftime. So here's Big Rick, because we've at least got the rugby on for this second half now. Oh, I assume you're talking about Francisco Gomez Cordella, mainly because he had 2 penalties against them right off the bat in the first 2 minutes, so they don't want him to go to the bin here. Someone else might go to the bin for his penalties that he gave away. Now the rolling maul again here for England, starting to get there a little bit closer. Someone's missing a shirt there. I'm not sure which Argentine player that is. I think it's Pedro Rubiolo, who has no shirt, and he's still making tackles. I guess he hasn't got time to put it back on. He's got a lot of strapping on that shoulder, still defending on the goal line, coming out to try and meet the English players. There's someone wolf whistling in the stands. They're enjoying what they're seeing. Currently still the 5 metres out. Streaker, says Crimson. Now back across to the right. Big contact with Alex Cole's knock on there. Argentina in possession. Pablo Matera just 2 metres out from his own try line. Very impressed with the under-20 scrum half. So here's Sakabula, and this is the Springbok under-20 considered, or so is the Springbok under-20 considered the tournament favourite. I would say so. Like, I know some people would say France, but I think that South Africa throughout their first games has looked really, really strong. I'm a bit concerned about Moyo, though. Has anyone got an update on that man? Whether or not Moyo is out due to an injury? Because he did take a head knock. So I'm not too sure whether or not Fusi Moyo is out for the rest of the comp. We'll have a quick look now. You got any information on him? No, they don't really give a huge amount of injury updates for the youngsters, so you kind of have to wait until the teams are announced before we do get to find it out. I'm interested in the England versus Wales under-20. The young Welsh players need to be strong. All quick hands there from England, but it's knocked out again. Oh, little bit of push and shove there almost taking place between a couple players off the ball. Quite strange. I had to reboot device to get back onto the comments, says Bruce. And also what I want to get high to now, Blaze, you ready, Guts? Says Lamatasi. And come on the RG, says Troy. Already 5 minutes passing in the second half of play in England. Again, that set piece, a little bit similar to what we actually saw for Argentina in the first match. How it hasn't quite been as clinical as they would like it to be. Hello, says Naz Williams. And yeah, this time it was Tom Roebuck. Couldn't quite slap it back for Freddie Stewart. Did have a bit of space on the outside as well, Freddie Stewart, that he could have been able to use in his favour. Looks like the team huddle there for the forwards, just working out what the plan will be from inside of the 22. Freddie Stewart just getting a little bit of medical attention here. And yes, I had to reboot as well, says Akaris. Interesting, so maybe just a bit of a YouTube glitch, I guess. Thomas Garcho having a drink alongside Pablo Matera. There'll be some fatigued players out there second your mate. It's starting to kick in a little bit more. We are almost at 9 a.m. New Zealand time. We have been streaming on the channel since about 17 and a half hours or so ago. In fact, it might have actually been around that 18-hour mark. And Snoop Dogg rotates, says Blues Nate. Well, that rhymed. But we are just waiting for this scrum to go back down. Freddie Stewart doing some squats to make sure that that leg is going to be all right, mate. You look exhausted, says Sucker. Well, I'll be honest, it's kicking in a little bit more now. We're into the about 12th hour of streaming today as well. And this game is close, says Xander, and Pumas could use the hand of God about now, says Andre. Freddie Stewart, it looks like he will be able to continue in this match. Someone that England certainly will not want to lose, although that last defence that he had in the first half, you know, they might look to switch him. If he keeps that up, 40 to go, Hamish. Done bloody brilliant, says Sai. Is there another game after this? Luckily not. Although actually there is, I think. In terms of the matches, one moment, we'll go like this. I think USA are playing later on. Today, July... Canada, Belgium, and USA, Spain. Taking place in around 2 hours and 2.5 hours. And up the rotation, says Nas. The comments must be like a blur for you, says Sakabola. Right, we've got another change taking place. I believe that is Thomas Garcho, who will make his way off. A line out throw, England claim it. Sam Underhill. Straight at Pablo Matera. And Dove Shack is smoking. And did you watch the Fiji-Scotland game? We did actually commentate that one on the channel all that time ago. Great performance from the Fijians, getting themselves a big win over the Scots. I wonder if you get nightmares about rugby after these stints, Hamish. I do sometimes accidentally do like sleep talking of rugby games, I've been told. So I continue the commentary once I do get to sleep. Hamish, please go to sleep after this, says Carlin. The worst thing will be, though, at the end of this game, I'll get a burst of energy. And I'll be absolutely wide awake and bouncing off the walls. Who's going to win here? It's going to be really close, I feel. Argentina, at times, have looked good throughout this game, but then they've also had a few really simple errors that make me concerned that that's where a counter-attack for England is going to come from. And no Warriors Tigers this afternoon. When's the last time you did a league game? That State of O with your dad a few years ago says, no, yeah, it's been quite some time since we were able to do it. I actually wanted to do Game 3 of State of Origin, but Brumbies versus British and Irish Lions sadly did overlap. With that one, don't spoil your day with sleep. Lots to do on a Sunday, says Xander. Now down the wing here for Freddie Stewart. Tackle low by Carreras. Pick and go there. Close to the sideline. 10 metres out from the line now. Freddie Stewart plays halfback. Goes to George Ford. Theo Dan. Still 10 metres out. Spencer back across Ford. Finds a man on his outside. Big shot on Alex Coles. How long have you been away for? I'd say close to the 24. Now Ford. Down again. Willis. Pops it up to Spencer. This is good defence at the moment from Argentina, but they can't afford to give away a penalty advantage for being offside. This one can't sleep after this. It's Sunday. He's has to preach to his flock, says Lamatasi. Now spin attempted there from Julio Montoya. You must be getting tired, says the What's Up Guys podcast. I think I'm almost past the tired stage, though. I think I'm starting to get my second wind. Now, taking at the back for Will Muir. Kicks it high and chases after it. Got a big, long stride on the bloke and a big old shot on Elizalde. Someone's boot got thrown away. I'm not sure whose that was. I'm looking around for the one boot wonder. But currently, I'm not seeing anyone with just the one on the foot. And Bumfart says, Crimson, any players putting their hand up for man of the match yet? Cinti's been all right for Argentina, I would say. Matera's been in the action quite a lot. Maybe Underhill. I've seen a lot of Underhill. Theo Dan's looked impressive too, but this looks like an injury here for, that might actually be Theo Dan, who is down at the moment. That's a concern, and best thing to do, get a few hours sleep, then a power nap in the middle of the day, says Pie Man. And also we have got there, Carlin Love It What Colour, says Ruth. And there as well, I must have missed one, maybe. And we have got the Ethiopia playing Bahamas, says Sakabola, but Theo Dan will now be off for Curtis Langdon. After the 48 minutes, that is a big concern for the English, seeing as they have sent Jamie George overseas. Into the British and Irish Lions door. He looks like he's in a lot of discomfort there, Theo Dan. And come on, the Pumas, turn it around, says Lamatasi. And Argentina has really become a threat to any team. I never thought we would become so strong, says Xander. And did you see Portugal-Ireland? I did see the score of that game. I haven't actually watched it, though, but I'm sure if I did, I would see quite a few exciting moments for one team. What was the score at half-time? I'll have a quick look. Half-time score was 54-0, so yeah, they pretty much just doubled it. Benitez Cruz has been told to use it. And Argentina still yet to beat the ABs in Argentina. Says Crimson, that was a good contest in the end. Now Ford again, shoveling it on to the right-hand side. Now Ford, tried the skip pass, but Ben Curry intercepted it and got it back in his favour. That looked like it was close to a knock-on there, but Ben Spencer will have to pick and go. I'm very happy with this, as I'm Irish, and vamos, vamos, Argentina. Says Augustinus there, and don't be foolish, we're talking about cats and dogs here. Says Travel. And also pull out the karaoke machine, Crimson song request. Cross kick from England now towards the 22. It is taken outside by Carreras. It's a brilliant skill to keep the ball in the field of play. Elizalde. Shut him down very well from the back. And BMW says Andrew and England the only Six Nations side never to lose to Italy. Says Mark and 8+ tries each half for Ireland. Any news on Vahi's HIA? I haven't heard anything as of yet. But I'm hoping that it'll come at about the same time as the Caleb Clark injury update. So I'd say that will be in the next kind of day or so. And Japan on my bucket list. If I can go to a game, even better. The Rand doesn't go far in Yen and Tokyo, one of the most expensive cities in the world. Says Sakabul, another penalty to England. No release coming from Argentina. This time Juan Martin Gonzalez. Man to be penalised. And we have got there That's what's happening so far. So we've got a close game on our hands. No one has scored any points throughout the second half. And yeah, my brother stayed in capsule hotels because the alternative was so expensive, says Big Rig. And like the French, Argentina used to be right scrap happy, says Andrew Neal. Yeah, I mean, Crema and Lavanini, those two alone had plenty of cards. He said the flight travel food was all cheap, but the hotel prices were insane, says Big Rig. Well, I guess it's a trick, isn't it, to get you there and then, you can't not stay somewhere, so yeah, it's probably a good setup. Now, Santiago Carreras, under pressure, inside of his own 22, kicks it downfield again. Okay, so it's like the Dunedin All Blacks versus France game. Says, what's up, guys, podcast. Honestly, Japan is a country that needs to be visited. Says Fleshin. Now, Benitez Cruz goes short side. Looks like Juan Mata Gonzalez is going to run this one straight sideways. Argentina really struggling to find a way through this English defence. I heard about those capsule hotels. A cool idea, even has a shower and a heated toilet. Says Sakabola, but the penalty this time goes to England. This is a kickable 3. And Ireland will never win a semi-final in the World Cup, says Johannes Payne. And Roy Gard is next level, bro, says Riley. Penalties 12 against Argentina. This time they do go for the 3. And honestly, I'd be fine with the capsule hotel for a week or so, says Big Rig Joe. Underhill, the man who did get in there, I think he's just checking to see whether or not he's got blood coming out of his forehead. But yeah, just getting over the ball. Argentina, lack of security in the breakdown. It did seem like Juan Martin Gonzalez had no idea where to go with his attacking run. Now George Ford, 2 from 2 today. Off the kicking tee, off the 2 tries scored. Sounds like some of our friends need here. I needs a personal travel agent. And at Travel with Carlin in there. Now Ford to line this one up. And the kick does go over. 17-17 after 53 minutes. Just the 27 minutes remaining. Missed, says the Vlad plays FIFA. Not quite. He did get it over. With or without you, a little bit of you too, isn't it? And Argentina has a high rising side in a few years. And hope he gets it over. We have got there also have a heated toilet. Girlfriend sits on it first, says Bruce. And now kick deep. 10 metres out from the line. Step there from England in space now on the short side. Will Muir close to the sideline. Kicks it downfield off his left boot. Carreras having to retreat. Going back down the middle of the field. England at the moment, you say, is winning this territory battle. And went to Japan back in 1998. Cleanest place I've ever seen, says Rab. And if you were to stop talking for a minute, I think you'd fall asleep. Probably. You got to keep on saying words. Now George Ford jogging it up. And we'll go for the up and under himself. This game has gone more defensive now for these two teams. A little bit similar to what we actually saw in the first half the last time that they met. It does seem like both teams are just trying their best not to lose this game in this 20-minute period and then perhaps really take it up to the next gear for the last 20. Who's guys' best player in the world currently? Oh, it depends on position because there are a lot of standout players across the world of rugby at this point in time. George Ford kicks it high again. Now after this, well taken by Carreras. And it's a tight game, says the What's Up Guys podcast. And the kicking is making me dizzy now, says Sue. Yeah, it's just going back and forth, back and forth. And yes, like you may, says Bruce. And Hamish like a bluefin. Once he stops, it's over, says Lamatasi. Now, trying to find their way through. This time it was Guido Petty. Benitez Cruz rolling it back again for another box kick. And from dogs to Japan to heated toilets, what a rugby chat, says Sakabola. And Artie, Colby and Peter Setatoy, my top 3 in no particular order. Says Riley, and come on England, win this game. You can't afford to lose this. Time for another try for you, says George. 25 minutes. Oh, little bit of cramp there maybe for one of the English forwards. I think it was Joe Hayes staying down, trying to slap that one back for England, but it is knocked on. Now stepping. Referee has said play on. I think he has missed a clear and obvious knock-on there from the English, and instead he said it's a knock-on against Argentina, who will go off to the left. The crowd are not happy one bit with that call. Now Spencer. This could be a very important moment in the game for the English after they did drop that ball forward. And to be fair, the Japan talk was rugby related, says Big Rig. You have been a legend for us all today, bro. Thanks. There's Andrew. And we will be back for the under-20s rugby championship that is coming around the corner as well. I love how the ref just let it fumble it amongst themselves and be like, oh, well, whoever gets it, gets it. Okay. For me, it is a knock-on, says the ref. And it's going to be a knock-on against Argentina. Now, I think the Box and the Kiwis are well clear at the top of the ranking, says Darren. And we have there Artie, Colby, and Peter Sef. Stick any of them at tight head prop, says Mark. And I'll say yes, big thanks, Amish, says Sakabola, but the penalty. It's going to actually go the way of England, number 8. Pablo Matera being penalised for this. It's going to be a draw, I can tell, says the What's Up Guys podcast. I don't know. I think that from the way that the momentum's going in the second half, England, it would be a surprise to me if they do lose this game. Wasted days and wasted nights. Says Nars Williams. And Vai, in my opinion, is our best player alongside Artie Savia for the All Blacks. He's going to a new level this year. And shout out to my sister Sally, who's working in Fiji today. Here's Andrew, so hopefully she is enjoying her work. England slipped the ref a few notes at halftime, says Big Rig Joe. And okay, Freddie, you can F off back to the 70s. Says Lamatasi. And we're going to see it there. That was a clear knock-on from the English. I have no idea how it wasn't called. And then afterwards, a breakdown penalty from Pablo Matera. We'll get them now 5 metres out from the line. Chance for Langdon. Right, couple changes about to be made. Argentina stepped up this week or England stepped down. I'd say it's a little bit of both. England haven't been as clinical as they were last week. Argentina have been a bit stronger, but still have made their fair share of errors too. We do see there Facundo Eza. He's made his way on with already Vaseline on the eyebrow. That's how you know the man had a good training session before the game got underway. Wasted days and wasted nights. And where is this being played? It is being played in Argentina. So the home game for Los Pumas. Looking for the rolling ball here, England. About 5 metres out from the line. Advantage there. Coming in through the side for the Argentines. Now Spencer goes across to Ford. Met in the middle of the park with some very solid defence from the Argentines. And they'll go back now for the original penalty. What do the South Africans think about Tashuka? Says Riley. And how about Sexual Chocolate? Says Lamatasi. You can only hear Hamish. You guys are flat. Sing louder, guys. Come on now. Says Blues Nate. Who's refereeing Gardner? He never favours the English. Says Awful. It is a referee who I actually have never seen before. Well, this match, I believe he is French, though. And ever heard of Angel Hernandez? I have not, no. And Vamos says Crimson. And good night all, Hamish. Are you in man of the matches? Says Carlin. Do appreciate you popping in once more. Yeah, I'm sure we will see at some stage either next week or for the under-20s. No Joe. Says Ophel. And Hamish, do you rate Moura? Not many box supporters do. I've seen that man get absolutely crucified throughout this week, ever since he was announced in the lineup, let alone that he was announced as captain. I'll be honest, he had a bit of a shaky game up against the Italians, but obviously Rassi sees something in him if he keeps on going back to him, because, you know, Rassi has taken some pretty handy players out of his side before, but Moura does remain. So obviously he sees something in the future. Now rolling more Langdon. Just out from the line, going down 1 metre short. Argentina jumping in there with Pablo Matera, who's going to try and keep that ball in. But it is now an advantage. This might be a yellow card to Pablo Matera here. And geez, Hamish, you look like you should have been asleep hours ago. I probably should have been. Yellow card coming now for Pablo Matera. This is where Argentina, unfortunately, their downfall may begin. And also England missing Jamie George. He was going to be starting in this game, but he is flying over to Australia now to fill in for Luke Cow and Dickey in the British and Irish Lions squad. As the AB's fan, I love Tachuka. He's a beast. Says Riley there. And I agree, our man of the match says Sai, and that guy going to be a good idea on flats. Says Blues neighbour. Pablo Matera, he thought that it was still a maul, so he got in there and trapped the ball. Unfortunately for his case, it was not still in there. Now, Ready to go for the line out. Yeah, it did go down for the English, but yeah, playing it on the ground for Matera as well. 11:08 p.m. South Africa still watching, loving your show. Not straight throw from the English. And also Hamish get some sleep after this, says Stefan. And also Roof is a Westie, I reckon. And maybe Jamie George is watching this stream right now on his flight. I'd like to think that he'd be able to watch it. Yeah, a 24-hour shadow, says Andre. And with you to the end, Hamish, nearly there, says Suckable. I'm sitting here enjoying your chat. Sipping Henry Weston's vintage cider, the double vintage. I don't know whether or not that's actually what it's called. I'll be honest, I haven't heard of it. So it might be double vintage or it might just be vintage once. And it's been doubled up. Time you're going to sleep. Hopefully, I'd say within the next 2 hours. Are you doing the under 20 games on Monday? I am indeed. I am going to be doing the match between South Africa and Argentina, as well as New Zealand versus France. And we're talking for life. And also Jeff Smith says, Rabbit, England need another try, says George. Do you use eye drops? I do not. Possibly should with how much I watch the screen. But nah. And this has to be the first time that Sky Stadium has had a rugby double header. Says the What's Up Guys podcast. I feel like you should eat something before you sleep, says Big Rig. It's probably not a bad idea because or else then I might get very hungry. But we'll work that out afterwards. Currently 60 minutes through in this match. Still 17 points to 17. Although I sound like your mum now, says a Big Rig. How's your team? I don't actually really have a team per se. We've covered so much rugby on the channel that I've become extremely impartial across the board. Now, almost getting his ankle twisted there for Benitez Cruz, who will roll this one back. So the under-20s is on Monday. It's Monday, South African time, Tuesday morning for us here in New Zealand. South Africa under-20 win. Who do you think they're playing? I think that they'll face, honestly, it sounds harsh, but I think they might face France. New Zealand haven't been bad, but I just feel like the France under-20s are a very tough team. And either way, I do think that South Africa will be quite happy with the draw that they've got. Because they easily could have faced England had it not been for Argentina getting that bonus point try in the second half up against the French. Now throwing the ball in, taken at the front by Ben Curry. Uncle Bob says Nars Williams, and Led Zeppelin says Andrew Neil. Adelaide Oval was chilly last night, disappointing for AUNZ, but the atmosphere felt great. Yeah, it really wasn't the result that people did expect. You just speak to Alvin Z and see if you can get a job with them as their sleep apnea spokesperson, says Jason. But now it looks like another injury there. That is Juan Matan Gonzalez staying down for a little bit longer. Which team so far do you think has the best current international winning streak? Which team so far do you think is... Well, South Africa haven't lost a game since last year. Neither have New Zealand, but I think that South Africa's winning streak is a little bit longer since their game up against Argentina, wasn't it? I think it was the last time they were defeated, and yeah, super excited. South Africa under 20 doing stunning this year, says Jan. Yep. It is so going to be a draw, says the What's Up Guys. I just don't trust that Argentina won't give away another silly penalty. They already are down to 14 men on the field. Told to use it again. And the box kick going downfield. A lot of kicking from these two sides in the contest. Well taken under the high ball for Freddie Stewart. Now gains England quite a bit of field position, or position I should say. Jack Van Poorvliet playing 9 now. Getting ripped down in the breakdown counter-ruck from Argentina. Looked like George Ford was going to be going for kick towards the corner. Instead now we'll be going with the up and under. It bounces in the field of play. In fact, no, sorry, it was over the sideline. It will now be Argentina who have got themselves the quick throw option. They decide against it. And we have there, you could probably get some shut-eye during some games, couldn't you? Says Andre. Depends on the game. Like, there has been one live stream I remember, I think it was last year, that I was doing, or it might have even been the year prior, that I went into full autopilot. I don't remember the second half of that game. But I watched it back and I was like, I don't even remember saying any of this, but I was just cruising. I was reading the chat. I was talking about what was going on in the game. but I don't think I actually had any control over it. The Boomers held on quite well. I even forget they have a man down, says Sue. And I'm happy Wales broke that streak, but I was also interested to see them lose, to see how long their streak goes for. And the All Blacks have broken their embarrassing long losing streak. Says, what's up, guys? And the England pack is struggling. Some of them are doing well, but I do think Argentina's unpredictability in the breakdown is making it a bit more difficult for England. I think we've seen a lot of Ben Curry, Sam Underhill, Tom Willis, a loose forward trio. Although maybe not as much as we saw them last week. But yeah, Argentina just are making it scrappy. At times, you can sleep when you are older. Rugby is more important, says Xander, and Argies have been a man down for all of 4 minutes, says Mark. And also, I learned from Squidge Rugby that Singapore has a record for the longest losing streak in international rugby, 27 games. And no team like the Prime New Zealand, says Jean there, up to the halfway line for England. That was Murley. Now Jack Van Porfley out, sneaking straight through the gap. Dangerous carry coming forward from, I believe it was Guy Pepper, but he's been ankle tapped. Now Van Porfley chipped in behind from George Ford yet again. Gets it out about a metre out from the Argentinian line, and that is going to be a hard line-out throw to win with the recent Pumas record. England need a couple more tries, says George. And great guitarist, says Ophel. And good field position for England here, says Sakabula. And there as well, yeah, I think this is definitely the big chance for England to go into the last 10 minutes with a lead. They are only 5 metres out from the Argentine line. Now, Argentina do have that line-out throw, but as we've seen, it's been very competitive from England throughout this match. And cheers for this, mate. I've got no TV at the moment, and there's no radio commentary that I can find in the UK. I know you're a legend. Says Neil, we are going to be live for plenty more matches taking place. I do want to cover England versus USA next week, which is going to be a slightly later kickoff in England for that game. Also, other internationals, the November Internationals Rugby Championship, the Sevens we cover on here too. Benitez Cruz. It's that one just into touch. That's a very good clearing kick from where it was on the field. And now it's going to be a draw, says the What's Up Guys podcast, and scrappy rugby, but ultimately doesn't matter if England can't convert it into points, says Big Rig Joe. Well, Will Muir is going to make his way off the field. Tom Willis also off. That is for Alex Dombrandt, who was playing number 21 in this match, as England have gone with the 6-2 split now, loping it around out to the outside. Freddie Stewart, he's got the man with him, finds Murley. This is the big chance, bump it off. Santiago Carreras, who is still down. Ball has been forced, but I think there's a knock-on here from England. And also a very concerning injury for Santiago Carreras. And hello from Ireland, says Padraig. And how much time is remaining, says Jan. Still another 15 or so minutes remaining in this matchup. Freddie Stewart, though, got the pass away to Murley and just bumps off Carreras, who was almost knocked out right when he tried to make that tackle. He did not look in a good way. In fact, he looked very confused after getting bumped off. Flew in way too quick with his head on the wrong side. And we have got there, I know it sounds funny, but I just can't pain, says a Blues Nate. And there'll be a knock-on if the ref was present, but this guy is asleep, says Sue. And Bobfoot says Crimson. And there as well. Just the 2 minutes remaining of the Pablo Matera yellow card. George Ford just trying to get control of his team. Knows how important this is going to be. You need a bottle of Sleepy, Sleepy, Snoozy, Snooze. Says Pie Man. And girl, I'm leaving you tomorrow, yeah. Says Blues Nate, are you still doing karaoke, Nate? And also, yes, sir, the Whalers Mad Band. Looks like Carreras, he will have to make his way from the field. I don't see how he can continue in this game after staying down for as long as he did. It has to be an HIA here. That's a try, not a knock-on. Says Scott, and excuse my drunk sentence, Hamish. Says Blues Nate, and you really need to get some sleep after this. Is the What's Up Guys podcast. And Hamish, who's been your player of the day over all the matches. Oh, so best player in any match. That's a hard one. First name that came to mind was Edwill van der Merwe for South Africa, just because of his ability under the high ball as well. Saw a couple Kiwis step up in that game up against the French. But yeah, I'd probably go Edwill van der Merwe if I had to. And also, I feel England have to score here, while Argentina down to 14, says Annie. And Leo Slayer says Andrew Neal. And now scrum feed now for Argentina. About maybe 7 metres out from their line, and they haven't got Pablo Matera in that forward pack. Now passing across Lucio Cinti. He has scored a try in this matchup, one of just the two for Argentina. The other was Mendy. Now Benitez Cruz has to roll it back once more. And does once again get it into touch. It just seems to be survival at the moment for Argentina during this 10-minute period. Without Pablo Matera, we're down to 13 minutes remaining on the clock. And Chili Pepper's favourite song is Other Side and Salter a Quiz. And YouTube just crashed for me. What did I miss, says Big Rig Joe. At the moment, the score is still 17-17 between these two sides now. Passing across George Ford under pressure. Tackled by Fulcando Eza. And it looks like the turnover is good for Argentina. Julio Montoya, 40 metres out from their own line here, Argentina. They need some territory. Short ball to Fulcando Eza again. Benitez Cruz back into the pocket. This time looks like they aren't going to be kicking this one, the Pumas. Instead trying to run it forward. Roy Gard, Hamish player of the day. Says Andre, he did do very well in that game up against the French. And also Squeeze says Lamatasi. Now ball being rolled back again. And ready to kick it downfield. Close to the sideline. Well watched by Murley, who keeps it in the field of play. Who is going to budge out of these two teams? Because both of them have the potential of being able to win this game. But at this current point in time, it could just be a 3-pointer, perhaps even a George Ford drop kick that determines it. And a lot of turnovers happening in this game. Their coach won't be happy to see that. And thoughts on Tava Tavanawai on his debut. Didn't get as much time with the ball in hand as I would have liked to see. But from the short amount, it does seem like he's going to be a dangerous ball runner. I have to look through at some of his stats. But I don't think he got quite the numbers that people wanted to see for him. But if he starts the next game, I think that he certainly could. But now looking for the step here. Freddie Stewart, big shot on him by Julio Montoya. Now Jack Van Porfliet. Back across here to the left-hand side once more, trying to skip his way through is Murley. Still inside of their own half here. England were up to 69 minutes through this game. Van Porfliet, he will roll it back and we're going for another box kick. Have the British and Irish lines been good or the opposition been poor so far? A little bit of both, I would say. They probably haven't been challenged as much throughout this series as they would have liked, but then that is actually good at times because the likes of their game up against the Brumbies, that was probably a little bit closer than they would have liked. This feels like a repeat of last game's first half. Lack of points, says Georgia. Only the 3 points being scored so far in the second half. And it could be 3 points from here that actually determines who will win in this contest. Kick downfield from Argentina. Taken under the high ball. Freddie Stewart goes to the right-hand side and doesn't pass to Caelan Murley. Another big shot. Van Porfliet goes to Ford. Inside ball from Freddie Stewart. 40 metres out. Both sides' discipline's been really strong as well in the last little while, or at least the discipline in the right positions on the field where they can't give away the 3-pointer. Get him back up to his feet. Having another go is Roebuck. Now Van Porfliet trying to pierce the gap. Almost went through, but into the breakdown. Benitez Cruz does get the steal for Argentina. Less than the 10 minutes now remaining. I'm pretty sure he was given the cup in the team photo after the game. He must be well respected by his teammates, says Jason. Also because he was on debut. It's probably the reason behind it. Perfect opportunity to try something, says the What's Up Guys podcast. Springboks are a mile ahead of all other teams in the world, says Eddie. Well, it's nice to see you staying humble with it. And the start of MTTVV now. And suddenly when the game is on the line, they call all behave. How shocking. Says Big Rick. And it happens after the game ends in a draw after extra time, happened in the URC semi-final of last season, says George. And come on the Pumas, don't let those fellas win. Stole the land, says Nars, and Golden Point, says Crimson. Well, I think it would just be a draw. And Sakabula, it was Munster, not Ulster. I'd be super disappointed if such a close game ended in a penalty shootout, says Big Rig, and 3 points either way wins this, says Annie. Yeah, I think it's next point wins in this game. Now, there is still time, of course, for a comeback, but I think whoever scores a try here, if either side do throughout the last 10 minutes, they'll probably get the job done. England's still getting better and better, says Mr. Richard. They're getting tested in this game, which is great for them. You know, this is a younger side that have learnt, I would think, massive amounts from this game. They were in control at times, but then, that's a big bump off. And Ignacio Mendy, he's going to stay down as he got throat punched, I think, from the English attacker. In fact, it looks like maybe he's hurt his shoulder. Does not look good at the moment. Grondona has made his way onto the field. That is for Pablo Matera going up for the high ball, knocked on by England there. And England aren't taking this game seriously. And England missing 13 lives. Pumas descendants of Spanish, says Tom. And Springboks now do lineouts in the middle of the field, says Johannes. And also your commentary is soothing and jazzy, ooh la la, says Ruth. The Argentinian bloke that played for the Crusaders forgot the name being quiet. Pablo Matera. Main reason he's been quiet last 10 minutes is he had a yellow card. So he was off the field, but Grondona now makes his way on. Got just the 9 minutes now left on the clock. Right, the TMO's getting involved here too. Okay, no foul play is the call there, apparently. And Oosh says Naz Williams. Oh, yeah, no, he just gets sat down by Sam Underhill. You should actually get Grant Nisbet to commentate some games with you. I don't think he'd do that. He's probably a bit busy commentating the All Blacks ones. I love Margaret. I was man in love with her, says Lamatasi. That is all we're going to read out of that one. Okay, last one was good, says the referee, in terms of that breakdown. So it is going to be the scrum feed now for Argentina. It's close to the end of this match, but I do think we've still got a couple late bits of drama. Yellow card over, it is over, and Pablo Matera, he has gone off the field for Grondona. The guy with the ball does no wrong. Head, shoulder, whatever they charge with his good, says Sue. Yeah, as long as it's not an extended elbow, that's pretty much the only thing you're not allowed to do as an attacking player. And she was great. Lamatasi escape, says Andrew. I don't see this being a draw. It just feels like something's still going to happen, doesn't it? In the last minutes of this match. Kando Isa hits it up 22 metres out, and Argentina again going for the box kick. I think they should be extra time, no draw. Something Will Lyons have been thinking about, says Jeff Smith. And come on the Pumas, says Sakabula, well taken under the high ball again from Freddie Stewart. And number one were a great song. Sadly, she passed away, bro, says Andrew. And come on the Pumas, says Sakabula. And come on, Roses, says Big Rig. So people going for both sides. 8 minutes, Jack Van Porfliet, he goes for the box kick too. Both sides, I think it's a bit of a negative mindset from both teams. Not willing to go for that full-on attack. Instead, just trying to play the territory around the halfway line and hope that your opposition is the one who makes a mistake. Whoever is brave enough to go for one more big attack will probably win this game. But it looks like the English have managed to rip that ball away from Argentina. Now looking for the wide backline movement. Terrible pass, and it goes straight into the hands of Argentina. Now ball is there again for Argentina. Someone's boots falling off. Looking for the little kicker behind. Elizalde kicks it forward to Freddie Stewart, who was tackled on the 22-metre line. England have spent a majority of this half inside of Argentina's. But now they find themselves only about 22 metres out from their line. The depth of Springboks I don't think anything can stop us from the 5th World Cup, says Eddie there. And I know they've only got a few minutes to make something, says the What's Up Guys podcast. Now roll back again for Jack Van Porfliet. Charge down attempted by Argentina. Does go into touch. Was it touched? It was touched, so it will be now an England line out. And Hamish, how badly do you want Wales in your Rugby World Cup group? I haven't really thought about the groups, to be honest. I think that it's one of those ones that once the teams are announced, then we can get excited about it. But until then, I haven't really put too much thought into who I want to see in each of the groups, who I want to see in group stage fixtures up against each other. Of course, there should be some rematches from that last World Cup, so this is a line-out. Says What's Up Guys podcast, so it is indeed the line-out, yes. And it is going to be the English line-out throw with 6 minutes left on the clock. About 45 metres out from their line now. England looking for the jump up and forcing the error. Drop ball goes backwards from England. And now Jack Van Porfley, and in fact, no, George Ford is going to play halfback. Goes across to Ben Curry. I bet you there's a kick coming soon here. Being what players are getting into says Johannes, although they have got some good depth at the moment. Now rolling this one back. Jack Van Porfley, box kick once more. Slapped back by England. 35 metres out from the try line now. A little bit of a counter-up coming from Grandon. And a drop ball, but regathered. We have got their Midnight Oil was the best. Love. Okay, we're still getting song quotes. I think that is now backline movement here for England. On to the right-hand side, Alex Dombrand moves up to the 22-metre line. Van Porfley across. One big moment here could change the game. One big offside against Argentina. All playing the ball and does get it legally for Facundo Eza. Another turnover for Argentina. We have got there. Please talk about the game, bro. We don't know what's going on. Says Sophie there. Although that was about a minute and a half ago, so I assume that was when that line out was taking place. Now getting back up to their feet, going again. Argentina sitting 25 metres out from their own try line. 5 minutes still remaining on the clock. Anyone's game. Now back across to the left-hand side. Sitting 25 metres out. We have got the Oosh. This guy says Naz Williams. And so many turnovers. Both sides have had a drastic amount of them in the breakdowns. And this contest kick downfield. Now taken by Freddie Stewart around the halfway line. Offloads to George Ford. Passes off to the right to find Sam Underhill. 4 minutes left now. Van Porfley goes off to Ben Curry. Looks like once again, what's the plan? Oh, I think that they were thinking about setting up for a kick there, but Van Porfley had actually pushed his lock away and said, nope. That's not what we're doing. And come on, England says, Samuel there. Kick downfield. Murley chasing after it. Elizalde calls for the mark just inside of his 22. What happens if it's a draw, end of game? It would be the end of the game if it is a draw, yes. And now still 3.5 minutes now remaining in this contest. Will we see a George Ford drop kick attempt in this match? Man of the match contenders. I would say for England, with the exception of that one bad play from Freddie Stewart, he's actually been really strong throughout this contest, so he's probably not a mile off a man of the match contender in this match. For Argentina, someone like Lucio Cinti, perhaps. She's morning, bro. What a grind. Happy Sabbath. Got to take the fams to church. Says most all in, but that one's going to be kicked into touch by Argentina off the mark. I think the teams just need to settle themselves down and be patient. Although there's only so much patience you can have, just the 3 minutes left now on the clock. England will have the line-out throw about 35 metres from their try line. Langdon ready to get it in there. All overthrown. Argentina chasing after it. Good aggression shown from the big number 16, but he has dropped the ball. England also have had a fumble, but it has gone backwards. Attack and run now from the tie here prop. Now Van Porfley again will go with the box kick. Who's going to have more control? Murley tries to get it, but Argentina claim it. Juan Martin Gonzalez goes across to Elizalde, who will kick it downfield off his left boot into the 22. George Ford again kicking it downfield and into touch. Very good kick from him. We have got the draw. Would have given you good odds, I'd say so. It would have been probably paying, with our closest gamers, maybe like probably $10, somewhere around there. Argentina should have been penalised for hands in the ruck, says Scott. And when it takes all, says Andrew, yep, we're coming down to the last 2 minutes here. Line out throw here for Argentina, just inside of their own territory. 2 minutes now on the clock, 17 points to 17. And draw/1 series is okay, minus Lions and away from home, says Jay. I think Argentina will be happy with a draw. They'd be happier with a draw than a loss, but I think they would like a win much more. And they have still got the time to be able to do it. Elizalde goes across there, big bump off Stepping around, trying to get rid of the defence, but they had him numbered. Ball comes out the side. Knock-on advantage here for England. This is the great position on the field for them. Any penalty advantage from here. George Ford could look at a closing out penalty, and I think that Curry realises it, cuts it back on the inside. Big attack and run down the wing. One more pass. England will score in the 79th minute. Jack Van Poortvliet scores it now, and that should just about be the icing on the cake for the English. And try time England, says Sakabula, and get an England try, says George. With a drop ball in the breakdown from Elizalde. Came free. Counter-attack. Straight on for the English. And Wiles says, what's up, guys? The question is, was this... I think that was just losing the ball on the ground, Elizalde. I was wondering whether or not maybe he had it stripped from him, but Tom Curry, it was Ben, got it away there to a dangerous ball runner, Guy Pepper, and then one pass on the inside for Jack Van Poortvliet. And deserves, says Ian. And Timo, where are you, says, what a party, as always. A great, dedicated, informative stream champ, says Leo Francis, I should say, sorry. Right, England trying to use up as much time on the clock as they physically can. George Ford needs this kick to go over. It is right near the sideline. He's missed. So Argentina, if they can get the ball in the next 15 seconds, they need a try. Or, well, no, that's it. They need a try. 5 points would draw it. 7 points would win it. England are going to be receiving the kickoff time. What time did the game start? It started 80 minutes ago. Well, a little bit longer than that. 7:40 local time for us here in New Zealand. I'm not sure what the time would actually be in Argentina, but kicking off short, going for the retaining of the ball. England managed to claim it now. Back into the pocket, Van Poortvliet. George Ford kicks it into touch, and England win this game. Who's the fellow who chucked $150 on England? On here, your shout KFC bro, says Naz Williams. And this feels like the under-20 English win over Australia. Says so, yeah, extremely close game, but the last-minute composure from the English to score another try in this match. You can see the heartbreak for Argentina, but England, they'll be very impressed with what they've been able to do here. If France lose their game up against New Zealand next week, I believe England would actually end up rising above France in the overall rugby rankings. Relegate Argentina from the Rugby Championship. Why would they do that? Argentina beat New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa last year on the Rugby Championship competition. Swinging low, says Samuel. I only bet £50 on England. At evens, at $7, at 7-3. Up, but a good result, says Liam. And that game is cheers, champ. And see you guys Monday, says Sakabula. And I'm not happy at all, says Travel. And yes, happy birthday, says Akaris. Yeah, hopefully you do enjoy the rest of your day. Great result. Missing so many players as well, says Mark. And yeah, having to dig deep in this contest. They sometimes say that a close game can teach you a lot more than a one-sided one. And England would have learnt quite a bit from this match up against the Argentines. Spencer with the smile on his face, but he'll have a few wounds from this contest too. Walking a little bit gingerly at the end of this game. This has been a poor second half. Feels like a repeat of the first half of last week's game. England should have won bigger. So here's George. And also, thanks for the great commentary, Hamish, says Big Rig Joe. No worries at all. Thank you very much for your generosity with the donations as well. It is greatly appreciated. The next live streams that we have got, ladies and gents, will be the under-20 semi-finals. That will be France versus New Zealand, as well as South Africa versus Argentina. Also, tomorrow we'll have our lineup prediction of what we think Rassie Erasmus will go with in his upcoming Springboks lineup up against Georgia. A couple All Blacks videos throughout the week too, including potentially an injury update if we do receive one. But yeah, I do thank you all very much for being here. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like. Also subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.